Welcome to the library eCommons workshop. Today we're going to be discussing the Roseman eCommons, which, if you're not aware, is a service that the library provides to help with amplifying and promoting Roseman's research. So let's just dive right into it. So, hi, my name is Connor. I'm the Access and Systems Librarian here at Roseman University. I deal with all sorts of tech-related things for the library, including but not limited to the Roseman eCommons. I have my master's degree in library science from San Jose State University, which I recently acquired. And I'm putting those skills to good work here to help amplify our research here at Roseman. So without further ado, we're really going to get started now. Some of you may be familiar with eCommons, some of you may not be. I don't blame you for that. Really quickly, what the eCommons is an institutional repository, or it's an IR, which is just a type of digital archive that a lot of universities and other types of special use cases have as a way of digitally archiving materials, research, presentations, videos, anything that sort of the institution itself produces, as a way of hosting it within the institution instead of putting it like on YouTube or on Google Drive. Instead, it's on an institutionally owned archive. Here at Roseman, our IR has the goal of bringing together scholarly research and creative works of our own academic community by highlighting the quality of work that is produced within Roseman. You can see there on the right, that is the home page or the landing page of our Roseman eCommons there, which we will actually go and explore later. Another thing you might be asking is, well, if we have this digital archive, why do we need it in the first place? Why can't we just put it on YouTube or on Google Drive or any of these other reasons or any of these other platforms? And I have three main reasons for that. The first being is that we want to prioritize Roseman research. By putting a video presentation you do or a scholarly work just on a Google Drive or on YouTube or somewhere else to share with other people, you're not really prioritizing Roseman research or your research. Instead, you're kind of just throwing it out there and hoping that it grabs the attention of people or that people are able to stumble upon it. We in the eCommons team provide long-term preservation, worldwide dissemination, and the development of new projects and partnerships. The second thing is related to that sort of diaspora of very general use cases where you're throwing on Google Drive or on YouTube. We are very focused on citation impact and outreach here. So let's say, for example, there is a paper that you've been working on for a few years, and it's through a journal, and you have a open access preprint or some sort of open access agreement with your journal. You're able to put that document or preprint or whatever type of document it is on our eCommons, so you can get some direct citation impact statistics that maybe your journal doesn't even provide, but you could also see the impact that it has within Roseman itself. Finally, is the eCommons is sort of a one-stop shop for Roseman related output. Like I said, it's not Google Drive or YouTube, it's just Roseman stuff on there. The research and items that are hosted on the eCommons are this centrally located archive, making it easier to peruse and see the impact that Roseman research and Roseman presentations and items have on not just the Roseman community, but the community worldwide. And so what we currently have hosted in the eCommons is, as of when I pulled these statistics this morning, is about 651 individual works. These are poster presentations from the research symposium, papers that faculty, staff, and other students have worked on as part of their research projects, presentations, video conferences, etc., that are located on our eCommons that people can access through direct links or can find citations for. Through those 651 individual works, we've received 61,732 individual downloads. That is people looking for a certain topic or a certain paper, finding it on our institutional repository and downloading it in each individual instance. So that's 61,000 downloads that may not have occurred if those papers, those presentations were not on the Roseman eCommons. And the third thing I wanted to highlight was our 13,835 metadata hits. These are really important because that is sort of the citation impact factor that I mentioned earlier, where if a paper or a poster or a presentation is cited somewhere else, we can kind of harvest the metadata of sort of a Google Scholar or a Sherpa Romeo and try to find exactly where that citation is happening and how many times it was cited. So those are 13,835 metadata hits related to citations, use cases, or anything like that. And if you'll notice here on the right, I have a map of the United States. This is something that I can see on the back end, but I wanted to share with you because I find it really interesting, is that we're able to, if you request it or are just curious, see exactly where in the world your work is being downloaded, where it's being viewed, where it's being cited. A lot of the times it's just happening in the United States, but globally we're getting a lot of hits in Asia and Africa and Australia, in Europe. There's a lot of people from all over the world that come to our institutional repository to access Roseman-related research, which is really important because if you were just using Google Scholar, Google Scholar, YouTube, or any of these sorts of more general archives, you wouldn't really get access to that sort of stuff. Yes, Tyler. Yeah.
Hey, so when I look at my data on there, I see that like maybe about half of the downloads are from commercial entities.
Yes.
Like I don't recognize them to be like institutions of higher learning or things like that. What kinds of commercial entities are downloading things from the eCommons and what do they do with them?
That's a great question. It's actually a question I had a while ago. We started seeing an uptick in commercial usage, and I was able to track down data related to different companies and different institutions that weren't universities that were using them. A lot of them were Google or like Bing or Microsoft, because when they use their harvesting tools for their search engines or for Google Scholar or any sort of stuff like that, sometimes they'll download a copy from our eCommons to then put inside of their search engine or put inside of their own archive. We haven't, I honestly don't have any more information about how they're using it beyond that. But that's sort of the trend that we've noticed in the past. Does that answer your question?
Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, if you have any questions, anyone has questions, please feel free to raise your hand, or I'll have time for questions at the end as well. So now I kind of just want to restate the role of the Roseman eCommons specifically in the research lifecycle. So institutional repositories globally are sort of there to help increase the research and prestige and the availability of university work and research through promotion and outreach. A lot of the times what we find the usage of the eCommons is not necessarily just because we want to have everything in a central place. It's also because we have increased availability and increased promotion through search engine optimization. Um, you can see this sometimes when you are logged into your Roseman account and you're searching through Google Scholar and you have Roseman University Library ticked as one of the places you're searching through. It sometimes will prioritize results from the eCommons if there's already Roseman related research, say for nursing or pharmacy or something like that. But we also have some search engine optimization tools that we use in order to, when someone's looking at a general research topic, whether it's in Google Scholar or on EBSCO or on Discovery, or anything like that, that it can draw research from the Roseman eCommons, not just from main journals. We also do a lot of, like I said, metadata gathering and citation impact forwarding. So we have some professors as well as some units within the institution that have hosted their research symposiums through us or their dental medicine stuff through us, and we're able to kind of give them usage statistics about how many people access these posters during this time frame, or how many downloads did these posters get a week or so after the research symposium ended. And as once I actually start walking through the website, you'll start to see the impact that can have. And you can start to see, the picture that forms when the eCommons is utilized to sort of host these kinds of events. But like I said, we're looking to branch out and support all types of Roseman research. So now I am going to take you on a tour of the eCommons website, as well as how to submit your own research to the eCommons. But before I get going, are there any questions on anything that I've said so far? Great. Like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to speak up. So if you're seeing my screen, you see that I'm at the Roseman homepage. This should hopefully look familiar for a lot of you, but I wanted to start at the very beginning. That way you know exactly where to find the eCommons website. So from the Roseman webpage, we're going to go to the library. Here on the library page, you can do your own research. You can access our library resource guides, but where we want to go is to our online resources tab. where we can find the eCommons at Roseman linked right here. From there, that takes you to the eCommons homepage that I showed you earlier. I'm currently logged in on my account, so I'm trying to do everything I can to hide sort of the administrative stuff, but I want to be able to show you everything related to submitting and as well as, all the collections that we have here. So you can see we have three main categories that we highlight, which is authors, disciplines, and collections. A lot of the times people just jump straight to collections, and if we click on authors, you'll see that we have every author who has a paper, poster, presentation, or something inside of the eCommons is listed here alphabetically. They could also be searched up here in this search box here. So if you're looking for a very specific author, you want to know what kind of research has my colleague in the College of Medicine done? If they have uploaded their work here on the eCommons, you'd be able to search them up directly and get links or downloads up every single thing that they've done once if they've submitted it to us. Here under disciplines, this is a little more general, but you can find all sorts of papers and presentations about different topics. A lot of the ones for us, we don't really deal with architecture, law, or the arts and humanities here at Roseman because we're very health sciences focused. So you'll see that there's only one arts and humanities thing or a paper, but we have 20 life science, 178 authors in life science, 1,100 in medicine and health sciences. Right here, if you're looking for very general discipline related stuff, we can, for example, click on life science works and it'll show you every single work that has been submitted to us with the tag of life sciences. And I'll show you how to do those tags when we go through submissions. Going back to the homepage here, what I find to be the easiest way to access Roseman related research is through our collections, because here we have them separated in not only into each college, each unit program, but also the College of Dental Medicine Research Conference and our annual research symposium, which is the majority of traffic that we get throughout the year is for the annual research symposium because so many of the students and faculty submit their posters to us to showcase on the eCommons indefinitely. So from here, I just want to show you real quick what we've done with the research symposium. You can see we have all of our past research symposium posters here. In the early days or the early years, we didn't get as many of those archived posters, but for this most recent year, we've had a lot of posters. We had over 170 posters submitted to us. And if you weren't able to make it to the annual research symposium this year, and you really wanted to see what was going on with the public health posters, we have all of them here listed with their authors and listed with their abstract and their keywords. And a lot of the times you'll be able to either view it on the page or like here, it'll link us to the full text, which will open us in another window. And you can see here that we have access to this poster, not just because it's Google Drive, but we also have it available for download. So in case Google Drive doesn't work or this poster is deleted, we do have a secondary archival copy. Any questions about what we have currently inside of the Roseman eCommons so far before I show you how to submit your own research? Awesome. So like Tyler mentioned, and I know a couple of you joined afterwards, but Tyler was asking me, how can I submit research to the Roseman eCommons? And that's very simple. We have this little button down here on the author corner to submit your own research. And what this does is there's two ways sort of submitting your paper or presentation or anything to the eCommons. One is you can do your own through this form. And the second is you can email me and I can assist you with sort of the submission process. Or if you have 40 papers that you've written at 5 different past institutions, I can help you sort of gather all of the metadata, gather the PDF files for those, and sort of work out what we can and cannot host on the Roseman eCommons due to journal licensing or anything like that. And doing that, I can assist you with what we can and cannot put on the Roseman eCommons. Like I said, we're really focused on Roseman research, but of course we want to showcase all of the research that our faculty have done because it's very important to us that, we have faculty that are very research focused, but if they're not really sure of where they could put their stuff or how much of their stuff they could put on the eCommons, that's why the library is here to assist you. But if you sort of have a handle on it, this is definitely the way to go. So on here, you'll be able to click your college or anything like that. Or like if you're, for example, in the library, you'll do library scholarship, which is what I'm in. So I'm going to do some library scholarship submitting. Here we have this whole submission form. And a lot of the stuff on here is required, but it's also some of it is optional. The reason for that being is sometimes, we will want more tags or information or metadata because the more we have, the more we can kind of promote and cross-apply with different institutional repositories, different databases and stuff like that. But a lot of the times people will just submit their title abstract and then send it off. And then we can help you figure out all of the rest of the information. But here, I'm actually going to submit something for you with you all. So the title I'm going to be submitting, because I don't have any current scholarly output, I'm just submitting a flyer that I put together for the eCommons. I will talk to, I will address that here in a second, Tyler. If, just give me 1 second, actually. Um, Sorry. So the College of Pharmacy is a contact us form currently because we are currently in the process of collecting faculty publication data that we are then going to put inside of the College of Pharmacy eCommons page. We are currently trying to harvest a lot of the data ourselves before we make that page available, making sure that we have access to a lot of the College of Pharmacy's previous works or any of their faculty if they worked at a previous institution. The reason that we don't have a direct submission form for that is because we're still compiling all of that data to then present and have available on the eCommons. And if we have people submitting on their own, it can mess up if it's like a duplicate of something that we already have pre-approved to put inside of the eCommons. I don't have a necessarily timeline for that, Tyler, of when it's going to be ready for self-submission. But if you're looking to submit something, you can go ahead and shoot me an email and I can work it out with you, if that answers your question. Perfect. So back to our submission form. So it is required to enter a title. And so since I'm just submitting a flyer that I put together for this little workshop, I just said it's a flyer for the eCommons. And then if you have more than one author, we have a database of previous authors that have been there, as well as you can add new authors. So if there's not affiliated with Roseman, for example, and they're not in our system, say, for example, they work for Norda College of Medicine, osteopathic medicine, or something like that, you can add them in as long as you have access to their institutional email. Since it's just me that made this flyer, I'm going to be the only author. And only the year is required for this. But like I said, being as specific as possible is sort of the best practice because it helps us, sort of proliferate your work. Thank you, Emily, for throwing that in the chat. Here in the description, this is optional, but this is where you would put the abstract. So if I'm submitting a journal article or something like that, I want to throw the abstract in here. So when people click on my article, it's not just download this article. Instead, it has all of this information about the introduction and the data and all of this stuff. We really encourage you at least put the abstract in here, even though it's not listed as required. It's not listed as required because a lot of presentations and videos don't have abstracts. Since I'm just submitting a PDF file of a flyer, I don't necessarily have an abstract, so I'm going to skip that part. I also don't have a discipline, but if I did, if I was, for example, submitting a journal article related to biology, I'd want to throw that in there as forensic biology or something like that. Keywords here are very important if you're looking to get a lot of citation impact. So this would be similar to why you put your abstract in there. So if it's like, about vaccines, you want to make sure your vaccine keywords are in there. You want to make sure all of your science related keywords are in there, which helps with the search engine optimization. If someone's Googling or using Google Scholar or EBSCO or Discovery, and they're trying to find a very specific article, the more keywords you have, the more likely it is that person's going to. I select a document type here because I want to make sure that it's under the right category in our eCommons. The link to published version is something that you put together only if it's published through another journal or if it's available open access somewhere else. You want to make sure that there's a secondary link there. So people are, if for some reason, unable to access it through our eCommons, there's another place they can go to access it, specifically if, if it's like open access or our library can access it as well. Same thing goes for publication here. If it was already published in a journal, if it was at a separate conference, like a dental medicine conference, you want to throw in the name of that conference there. Like it's like a presentation. The institutional repository software that we use automatically will generate citations. But if you already have a citation that you want to use, or it was generated if you already had another journal, it was published in another journal, you could throw it in here. And then finally, we want to upload some sort of article or flyer in this case. So I'm going to collect upload file from my computer, and I'm going to upload my flyer. Or if you have like another site, like it's like I said, if it's a published on another site, you can also put that link in there. And then if it's more than one file, say it's like a journal or a conference proceeding or presentation, and it has like some sort of handout that goes with the PDF of the presentation or the PowerPoint, you can throw that in here. And then once I make sure that all of my information is correct, since I'm only submitting a flyer, I just have the title, the author, the year, what it is, and the actual flyer. I'm going to click submit. After that, you'll be sent to this page in which you can see all the metadata that you submitted. Since I only did a flyer, it just has my title, the author, the year, what it is, and then the download button. This is what it's going to look like on the back end. But once it is fully uploaded, I will be able to show you on the front end what that looks like. So you can see here, I also am able to manage all my submissions. So let's say, for example, I've submitted more than one article before or anything like that. If I click this button, I will be able to see everything I've ever submitted. Here you can see that I've submitted this, but since I have only submitted that because I don't have any institutional work in here, that's all that shows up. All right. So I'm really quickly going to show you what that looks like on the page. So you can see what I did is I went to our collection, library scholarship, and this is what I submitted earlier today as an example of what it looks like. It shows the title. It would also show the abstract and the document type and the recommended citation and the ability to download the flyer that I uploaded in there. Like I said, this is really easy if you're doing just like 1, 2, 3 journal articles or conference proceedings or anything like that. If you're running into issues and you're trying to submit like 20, 30 different things, your librarian, me, can assist you with that because I have the ability to sort of batch upload multiple citations, multiple journal articles, multiple things that you don't necessarily have access to because a lot of the times people are only submitting one poster for the symposium or one journal article at a time as it's published. That's how you submit. Are there any questions about the submission process? Now I'm throwing a lot of information at you, so don't worry about it if you can't think of anything right now. Awesome. So we're going to go back to the homepage real quick, and the one thing I want to show you is our FAQ section, which is located up here at the top of the page. If you're looking to do this just on your own and you kind of want to see, what kind of things I could submit to the eCommons, or if I'm running into an issue submitting things to the eCommons or viewing something on the eCommons and you don't feel like emailing me, which is totally fine, we have this FAQ page that has been put together that can give you a little more information about what type of file formats you're allowed to submit, or can I put something from a journal depending on the agreement in there. So don't be afraid to not only contact me or anyone at the library, but if you're looking to just do this on your own, we have this FAQ here.